I'm Dennis Wirth of the Comedy Kitchen, and you've just entered Nate and Dana's house in Alaska. I am here with comedy legend Carl LaBove. Carl, welcome to the Comedy Kitchen.
Thank you so much.
You excited, man?
Anytime you get to cook good food.
I'm excited because most comics on Hit the Road, they always hit the restaurants. Most cooks don't know, they don't know how to cook comics, but you know how to cook.
Right.
Okay, so what are we making today?
This is a meal that I call stink breath pasta.
Stink breath pasta?
Stink breath pasta.
That's the best kind of pasta.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you like garlic, it's good for you, especially when you're on the road. You're tired a lot and sickness can jump in, so if you eat this meal, it guarantees you health for at least 2 months straight.
At least 2 months. Okay, no vampires, right?
No.
You don't have any vampires, man. Okay. Where'd you learn how to make this recipe?
Actually, I was working a gig in Utah, and I worked with comedian Betsy Weiss.
Okay.
And we had such a great week, and on our last night there, she went out and got these ingredients and made it, and I loved it so much. I had her write down this process for me, and I've been cooking it now for 15 years.
Now you're going to make it for me.
Yeah.
I like to eat, babe. All right, what's our first step?
Okay, well, we're going to start some water boiling over here.
All right.
And get that going.
Preheated some water over here.
Got some preheat going.
All right.
And
how much you need? Same way.
just keep going. We're gonna put a box of pasta in here, so
We need quite a bit.
we need quite a bit. And then I'll add some now.
So what we got?
All right, so I'll add a little bit more to this
All right.
to help us with the process of moving it
Getting
along.
going.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're going,
Yes.
you started out the Outlaws of Comedy, Houston.
Yep.
Tell us about the beginning.
I found stand-up when I was just the end of my 19th year, so I was about 19 or so, when my father read an article in the newspaper that they were looking for comedians at a comedy club that was just opening. And I'm a big fan of stand-up. My father, I was raised on really great comedy albums, like most of us were. And
What were some of the big albums you liked?
Bill Cosby's early stuff, the storytelling styles.
Legend.
Yeah. Lenny Bruce. My dad turned me on to Lenny Bruce. My dad
Broke
turned me
all
on to
the rules.
Richard Pryor. And
Changed comedy.
Yeah, all those great albums of the 60s. But I just loved it. It was a great escape for me. And I fell in love, and I did it for the first time, and it changed my life.
There's a lot of guys who like to go back and spend one day with the Outlaws. You actually got to be an outlaw. I mean, did you guys have any idea when you started it was going to turn into being the legends of comedy? No.
No.
We were just having fun, right?
Yeah, like last night we did a show together. We met 4 or 5 young comics that went on before us.
Yeah.
All right, so some of them were good, and some were learning the craft.
Just coming up. Yeah.
You don't judge it. Well, that's how we were. We were just guys that found it, and
looking back, those are some of the funnest times. Ain't
Absolutely.
They? Looking back,
Yeah,
it's like you don't realize
for
it at the time, but looking back, you do. What are we doing now?
Now we got Roma tomatoes that we're going to slice up, put in a bowl, and have prepped for the finale, as I like to call it, because it's all about the timing at the very end that I love.
Where it all comes together.
Where it all comes together, yeah, because it's just a couple of minutes where you mix all these broths and these different things that we're going to do here to prep it.
Okay.
And once that's...
How many, all 10?
Huh?
How many, all 10?
Yeah, we're going to get all 10.
All right, I'm going to help you out then.
All right, cool.
And we'll really get going, all right.
Thank you. I'm not used to having somebody help me.
See that? Usually it's a one-man recipe.
Exactly.
Today's a two-man recipe.
Yeah.
All right, so from there, you hit the road. You're up to L.A., the Comedy Store. Tell us about it.
Well, I got a job as a doorman, so I call it Comedy College. I got to sit there and watch Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, all the guys that were hot in the early 80s, and of course legends, and the TV guys, the guys that were on television shows and working out every night. I got to watch from 8 o'clock at night on till 2 o'clock in the morning and see their private sides, see them interact with other people through the course of the night, do business, and it just couldn't have been a greater lesson for me, is how to be a professional. Because some of the guys were jerks, and you learn from them not to be that way.
You learn a lot just by observing.
Exactly. Sure. And so it was a confidence builder. I got to make friends with these guys, and I booked shows for Mitzi Shore, who owns the Comedy Store. She eventually made me like a young manager.
Moving up.
So I got to put together shows at her Westwoods Club, which was right near UCLA. So it was catering to a comedy audience.
Well, the college kids get out there? There you go.
And so I got to learn how to craft a show and make the energy flow all through the night by putting the right acts behind each other, And that's where I met the Larry Davids and the
All the big names.
yeah. The guys that I just enjoyed so much. They were just so brilliant. And I was just learning my craft and eating it up like dinner every night. Even though I was starving, you know.
Yeah, you pay your price to get where you're at.
That's the fun days, was to be so. We'd save up $5 or whatever it was and go get a hot dog, and 3 guys would split it. But yet we'd get through the next day. You know.
How bad do you want it? Do you want to go through those times to get to it, right?
I had a station wagon that I lived in for a while, and I used to tell people I had a 2-bedroom apartment because it had a front seat and a back seat.
The good times.
Yes.
So you've had a story of comedy. I mean, how many years have you been out of here roughly? Do you know exactly?
Well, I started in 1979.
Oh, wow. So you've been out quite a long time.
I'm just entering my 38th year of doing something that I completely love. Time goes by quickly when you're enjoying yourself, you know.
Sure. So looking back, what's like one of your favorite memories in comedy?
My dad seeing me do, you know, perform and get to live out, you know, some of the success that I got to experience as a young person, where I realized how proud he was of me.
Sharing the success.
Yeah. Buying things for family, seeing their faces when they realized that
you made it.
That I was happy. You know, I think success is really doing what you love to do. Sometimes the money's there, sometimes it isn't, but when you have a passion for it,
yeah, you never work a day in your life if
really
you do what you love to do.
You really don't. You're waking up doing what you love to do, so that makes it fun.
So I know some nights are better than others, and
Yes.
we've had some crazy stories here, man. I know some nights you hit the drunks, you hit the hecklers. What's one of the craziest things that ever happened to you during a comedy show?
Oh, had a gun pulled on me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little crazy. Well, I'm glad to see you made it alive, brother.
Yes,
Good stuff.
yes.
What happened there?
Guy didn't like that his girlfriend enjoyed me.
I've had that happen.
Yeah. So he approached me in the bathroom with a gun in my back and made sure I knew that he was capable of taking my life if he so chose.
Oh, jeez.
And I think one of the good things about what we do is we're kind of good at talking ourselves out of trouble.
Yeah, you learn how to,
you know,
talk to people.
Yeah. I mean, in our business, you don't want to be known as a fighter.
So what were the magic words that you said to the guy that you made it out?
There's $1,000 in my pocket. Please leave me alone.
All right. Sometimes cash works too. Sometimes a little cash on the deal. Why not? Oh boy.
Yeah. So I've had things thrown at me on stage. Where you're performing and all of a sudden a glass flies by your head. I've jumped off the stage and I've attacked whoever's attacked me first. When I was a doorman at the Comedy Store in the early days, some guys were in the corner heckling one of my friends and got up and threw a bottle at him while he was performing, and I actually saw it. So I ran over there, grabbed the guy by the neck, and threw him out of the club.
Your buddy, right?
all the while yelling at this guy. I was so angry that I didn't realize that he was 6'9" and one of the starting members of the UCLA basketball
Ready to
team.
whoop your butt, right?
No, I had intimidated him so much. By the time that I dragged him out, he was in shock the whole way out.
Oh.
So the story for the longest time is that I was not to be messed with.
Don't mess with Carl.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that was a great image to have.
Sure. Nobody will mess with you again, right?
And yeah, and in reality, I just reacted. I didn't see how big he was, or I might have sent somebody else over.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the main reasons I wanted to meet you is family court. There's some bitches, ain't there?
They could just slice my thumb off with that.
Well, I mean, I know you've spoken for us in Father's Rights Group, and
Right.
I do a character in my comedy routine called the Child Support Superhero,
Yes,
where I get them laughing about it, then they go to check me out, and I hit them with a serious message that the
Yes.
laws need to change. But
Yes.
talk a little bit about your fight with family law in the system.
Okay, well, I found out I was a father in the late 80s and had a daughter in my life for 1 year and divorced her mother and wasn't allowed to see her very often. There was always an excuse of why I couldn't be with her, so I got to see her once every 3 years. Once a year for 3
Once a
years.
year for
Yes,
3 years.
which was a horrible
That's worse than us.
situation
Yeah,
as a
I've seen it.
father to
Oh,
go through.
right.
A loving father.
A
you know,
loving father,
yeah.
yes, I know about that.
And it was always so hard to see, and then I found out that she wasn't my child.
It was
And
another life-changing moment.
you know what? Of all the things I've survived, this was the hardest.
Really
Because I know there's people out there that have lost a child, which is just unfathomable.
unthinkable, yeah.
And But to lose a child that you thought was yours, that you had lost the bond with through divorce and visitation.
Well, you fight it to have, and all of a sudden it's not even yours, right?
So I learned the laws, you know, which was you only had so much time to file
to contest it, right?
Contest. In California, it's only a 2-year period of time. So I ended up fighting for 18 years, and I met people in this country that I thought my story was bad. I met some people that had a worse story, you know.
Yeah, whenever you think it's worse, you hear a worse one, yeah.
Yeah, the court systems are just awful.
You know, I do a lot of shows, and after they hear my routine, the child support super, they want to come up and tell me their story. They want someone to vent to, because you've shared their pain, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, you talk to a lot of these fathers groups. I mean, what did you tell them? How do you go about changing the laws? What needs to happen?
Well, you know, the problem is men aren't like women where they can get together and go and fight for something that's wrong. Men have this ego thing that we've been raised with, you know. So to them, men won't get together and support each other like women.
Yeah, right. More complain about it with no direction, right?
Yeah, well, men, they get angry. Women get angry and do something. Men get angry, and that's it.
And do something stupid most times rather than something smart, right?
Yeah. They're not taught how to take care of themselves in that way. And plus, you know, we're not coached as boys growing up. That,
right.
You know, part of marriage is divorce sometimes too, and that you have to learn the laws to protect yourself and to protect your family and to protect your rights to see your child, or in my case, when you find out your child isn't yours, to get out of the situation that you're forced into, not only having the horror and the pain of a situation like that, but to lose your rights and have your passport and your driver's license taken away from you. So all those rights that everyone just takes for granted.
Hacked each week.
Yeah, exactly. You screw up once in life by missing a time or whatever, and you lose all your freedoms.
So educate yourself is what you're saying. That's the best way to fight bad. Educate yourself. Yes. And I always say awareness is the key. You know, any problem gets solved, you need to spread awareness, and that's why I do what I do and you do what you do. What are we doing here now?
And now we got basil.
We got some basil?
And we're going to pile our basil up. This has already been pre-cleaned. We're going to pile our basil up and we're going to chop that into small squares.
Okay.
And use that also as one of our little secret ingredients.
There's our water doing there. We're getting there slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you want to do comedy? I mean, was there somebody who inspired you, the mainstream?
Yeah, my family. My family is a Louisiana Cajun family. My dad was in the Air Force, and probably the best sense of humor I could have been blessed to be raised around.
Yeah.
Loving guy, but God, did he love to find a joke every day.
Love to find the humor, right?
And so we moved all the time. My mom was a little bit of agoraphobic. She was afraid of people. She's from the South. She was afraid she'd make a mistake, you know, that kind of thing. Whereas Dad made travel fun and
more outgoing. I know you like that too. You take after your dad. You're really outgoing with people.
Yeah. So being raised with someone that was really funny, like being raised around a professional comedian. Actually, you know, he made everything a blast, and he made life exciting by taking the hardships that he went through and just flipping it with a great sense of humor. And he had that, hey, you know, it's life, it's going to fall off your shoulder, keep going.
Positive attitude.
Yeah, very positive attitude. And so his dad was hysterical, my grandfather, his uncles, and my aunt. They were
just ran in the family, right?
Yes. That side of the family, my dad's side especially, was just...
Yeah, I'm a big Boston Celtics fan. Larry Bird, they asked him, who was your favorite basketball player? And he said, my brothers. That's why I wanted to play. I wanted to beat them. Everybody was waiting for the big name, you know, basketball players. And that was my brothers.
That's right, the competition growing up. So I think that by the time I hit about 12 or 13, I was hooked on... not the attention. It was not the attention. It was watching people fall out on the floor. It was watching people changing their mood. Right. Those kind of things intrigued me. That all it took was a story or a good attitude and
change the whole outlook on something, right?
Exactly. All right, now we're going to put this together and chop these little, square these up.
Square those up, just like the tomatoes. Here we go.
Yeah.
I can tell you've done this before. Because I get some comics on there, they don't even know how to operate a knife. They're trying to go like a saw or something.
Right.
Like, let the knife do the work. All right. Going right at it here.
This is, I didn't know what this little bit of basil can do.
Love the
Boy,
smell.
it just really gives a nice flavor to this.
So I know, like, each part of the country has a different, taste in food. You can get the same foods everywhere, but I know a lot of comics, they travel to one part of the country and say, when I go there, I gotta get this.
Yes.
What are some of the foods you look forward to when you travel?
Madison, Wisconsin
Yeah.
has one of my favorite Japanese restaurants.
Okay.
I was raised in Japan growing up, and there's a comfort food that I've had since I was
Really?
9 years old, and it's called katsudon.
Okay.
And katsudon is a dish bowl of rice, and raw egg is thrown in with onions, and they take a pork, deep fry it, and lay it on top, and you throw the egg and the onions and some other small ingredients on top of that, and it bakes. It's so hot. It bakes, and all that flavor drops down into the rice.
Oh, yeah, so
And it's one of the few places that actually makes. I need a small plate to throw this on to get this out of the way.
I love that with, let it up in that cabinet there.
Okay.
You can find one.
Yeah.
I love that with shrimp and lobster sauce, just soak right into the white rice. Like on that side, right on top, I put it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, right into the little bowl.
Uh-huh. And then the best part is you get to chop garlic nuts. And I know how exciting that is.
Get our eyes watering and
That's
nose
right.
down. Alright, before we do that, Carl,
Sure.
we have a part of the show that is called Funny Food Questions. You ready for a funny food question?
Absolutely.
Let me hit you with it here.
Okay.
Alright, Carl. If you worked in a grocery store and you were going to try to market selling avocados,
Uh-huh.
what's the best line you'd pitch to sell an avocado?
I'm selling the avocado?
You're selling the avocado.
Okay.
How do you market it?
All right. The avocado is like a beautiful woman. Once you take that outer shell out, you're going to meet the most wonderful thing you can put on a plate.
That's beautiful. All right. Well, pull out your phone here, and I sent you something on it, and let's see how they're marketing avocados here at the grocery store.
Okay.
And this guy, if you open that up,
Yes.
he's selling some ripe ass avocados. That's how he decided to market it. Ripe ass avocados, which I guess if you go to the ghetto, you don't want regular avocados.
No.
You want the ripe ass
Yes,
avocados.
please.
All right. So that's how they're marketing it. Would you eat the ripe ass avocado?
Well, I'd eat that before I'd eat the not ready yet ass avocados.
That's right, because you can have the ripe ass avocados. All right. So we need our garlic. Where do we put that?
All right. So
Right behind you. Bam, we're prepared here in the comedy kitchen.
Dana, our friend Dana, went and bought this. What is it? 5
Thank you, Dana.
I mean, this is such a huge bag.
Yeah, we don't need that much, because you could fight vampires with this bag, man. And you'd win.
Yeah,
As this much, you'd have a battle, right?
yeah, that's a good
Looking
amount
good.
right there. And
I
then
already
we just
smell
get-
the aroma.
Yeah, huh? And then we just get to chopping.
Then your eyes water, and your nose drips.
Oh yeah. Now they say if you open your mouth while you chop this,
Yeah.
then you won't cry. But I think you look like a complete idiot.
You have a coating on your tongue, though, don't
Yes.
you?
Well, you just don't look like a normal cook when you're.
So how small of slices are we looking for here?
It's going to go inside your pasta, so you do want to. You want it
You
chop.
want it like minced, I guess.
Exactly. You want it mixed. You know, a long time ago, I was so happy because I bought one of those as seen on TV stompers.
Okay.
You know those things you buy. You go.
Yeah,
And
you
can
chop
stomp.
it up automatically.
Yes,
yeah.
like a chopper. And my neighbor complained after the first time I used it.
Really? Was that loud?
No, I just got into it.
Yeah, having fun, right? It's a new toy.
Exactly.
I've had that happen
Yeah,
before, sure.
I got into it.
All
I don't
right.
know what you're doing up there, but if you don't mind,
Could you knock that off, man? You're disturbing my,
scared my wife. And
evening news, and the kids are
Uh-huh.
crying, and man, who's the guy living next door now? If you could go back in comedy, take one thing back, what's the one thing you take back in comedy?
oh, probably the behavior of the '80s. I mean, now that I've survived it and I look back,
Looking
it's
back,
like there's
young
no,
and stupid like the rest of us, right?
yeah, but it was just the time, and I got in that part where I thought drugs was made me
Making you
funny and cool and all that kind of stuff. When in fact it didn't do anything.
It was hurting you,
It
and
steal
you
a
didn't
little
realize
time.
it, right?
No, it just stole a little time from me.
Sure.
So those kind of things, but I haven't made, I've made a lot of mistakes like we all do,
Oh, yeah.
but I've
That's what
also,
life is.
if it
learning
wasn't for
mistakes.
those mistakes, I surely wouldn't have learned how to become the person I am now.
Wouldn't be who you are.
And
sure.
I have learned forgiveness, and I have learned things that I didn't see as a younger person.
Yeah, you watched a video on you where you talked about, you know, going through the self-abuse and the pain and the hatred and getting to the other side, the forgiveness and the fighting back and helping the people behind you, right?
Yeah, and I've always done that, you know. I think it makes you feel good. Anybody who's feeling down and depressed because of their life events that have come up and surprised them and stolen some time from them and hurt them, I think anyone will tell you, if you get into helping others, it makes something go away in you that is not as angry. You just become a calmer soul. It's like a great Zen lesson or something, you know?
Sure.
I wish I would have known that a long time ago too, because there's a real magic of caring.
Yeah, you gotta go through the bad times to get to the good times.
Yeah, absolutely.
The feeling you get from helping people outweighs any amount of money anybody could pay. So I love doing the benefit shows in comedy.
Right.
I take less money any day to help people out.
Yeah, they're the best shows.
Yeah.
You meet people with situations that you never heard of and never thought of, and then you see how they handle it, and you get ashamed of how you've handled some junk in your life.
Petty stuff, right? You see what they're dealing with.
That's right. And I've met some of the most loving and kind people, and through my what I thought was horror and pain, it was just another door that opened up to me that educated me.
Another lesson in life, sure. All right.
By the way, some of these are going to have calluses because I play guitar, so the tips of my fingers are calloused.
Some may be garlic and some may not.
That's right.
Okay. What are we doing now?
I'm going to wipe the burn out of that cut that I got. That really
how's that garlic feeling?
Beautiful. It's in there teaching me a lesson.
See that? We got our little helper down here. Mm-hmm. We got a little puppy.
Yes.
That's all right. That's what makes the home experience of the comedy kitchen quality.
This may be your first garlic. So
that's right. What's going on in there? I smell something with dog sense.
What? How are we doing on the wall? We got a good boil going there?
It's getting going there, yeah. Looks like we got it to a boil now, so.
We're going to pour a little bit of virgin oil in there just to make it a non-sticky situation.
Virgin oil in the hot water.
And we're gonna go with rigatonis today.
Rigatoni pasta, love it.
I do too.
I love the thick pasta.
Well, I think what it does, rigatoni is going to capture all the stuff that we've chopped up, and it's going to go inside the noodle.
All over it.
Yes.
Capture the flavor. Half the bat.
There you go. Here. A non-stick stir.
Non-stick stir. All right.
We're going to save this because we got about 13-14 minutes there. But we're going to use chicken bouillon cubes too, and a cup of 1/4 of water in a small dish here. And once this is done, then it's a timing game. And you'll see what I'm saying. We'll have the
little taste going right here.
Actually,
little cube for taste.
Usually when I use the side, yeah, we'll go with 4.
All right, 4 cubes. So, I know you worked with the legends way back when. Who's the new posse now? Who do you enjoy working with? Who are your favorite comic stars?
Well, I go back to the Comedy Store. I just to see all the young guys, but I love like Bill Burr, Mark Maron.
The new legends.
Yeah, but there's just a brilliance on stage of relaxation, and there's so much truth in the stuff that. I think a lot of the guys are doing, not just them. They're probably bigger focuses out there.
That's the funniest stuff, is the true stuff.
Sure it is. And but I like all comedy. I like the young guys that don't know what they're doing yet, but they got heart and soul. I mean, I like comedy. I like to watch it.
But what's it like, the comics coming up to you and looking for advice and looking to you as one of the heroes of comedy, as opposed to, you used to do that back when you were young?
Absolutely.
What's it like being the hero?
The flip side of being on that side of it? Well, I think the lesson is longevity. Put you in a situation that I'm humbled by, just as I'm sure those guys were too back when I was the young comic, when I was 20 years old, standing next to them asking questions and stuff. So
do you give the same answers, or do you have your own experience?
My experience has taught me something different. So I tell them whatever the truth is to the question. But I do motivate. I make comics believe in themselves, especially when I believe in them too. And a lot of us, I think, suffer from, we're alone a lot. We're on the road a lot by ourselves. We're right by ourselves, and we do our shows. And you're only as good as that night show, which is not true, but you walk away feeling that was either I missed the mark that night.
I remember, right?
So you're constantly working on those perfections. If you can take the best of your comedy side of your personality and make it great every night. That's what we work on for a living. So I tell guys it's not just that, it's your day life too, and it's your love and your girl and your family and all those things. Just as important. So spend as much time as those things too.
Just talking about real life stuff.
That's right.
So if they want to check out Carl LaBove, where do they go? Website, Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Also, I love Twitter and Instagram.
Instagram, okay. What are some of the hot spots you play where all over the country they can catch you? I mean, you already mentioned the comedy.
Well, Vegas is probably the easiest for people because they travel a lot. So I do the Laugh Factory at the Tropicana a lot.
Okay.
And I do Brad Garrett's Comedy Club across the street at the MGM Grand. So those are the two places. If you're ever in Vegas, check that out and come see what I do.
When you're over on the East Coast, where are you playing over there?
Governor's Brokerage in Bohemia has a great club out there that I do.
So you're worldwide.
Yeah, in Atlantic City, in the Borgata Hotel.
All right, so I know I asked you this yesterday, but so the folks at home now, what was the biggest show you ever played?
It was the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Convention in 1989 or 1990, and it was probably 40,000 people.
40,000 people.
It was a sea of people. It was when I saw what was going on out there, when I saw the magnitude of this.
The moment hit you?
Yeah, I went, this is comedy Woodstock. You know what I mean?
Felt like the Beatles, right?
It was something. Well, I was afraid because obviously they were there to see Sam Kinison.
Right.
But I was the special guest in all those tours, so it was my responsibility to go out and grab that audience for 35, 40 minutes.
Sure.
And it was probably the first time that I ever felt a heart attack looming.
Okay.
And 2 minutes into it, I knew that it was going to be the best show.
You could do it, right?
It was a connection, and it was a great experience.
All right.
Yeah.
So I know. Go good.
Well, another scary part would be I cut myself, so I keep checking to see if there's no blood.
No blood. No blood on the pasta.
Yes, right. That's important.
Tomatoes we wouldn't notice, right?
You can edit that part out where you guys dripping fingers.
Sure, we can edit out the chopped fingers. We always make it look pretty here on the Comedy
And
Kitchen.
come back. Yes, and so now we'll continue with this. My dad was a good cook, by the way. He was a cook in our family. So we had a lot of Cajun meals.
What were some of his famous dishes?
He had a thing, tri-tip, that he made on Sundays.
Tri-tip?
And he just marinated it in soy sauce.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal meal. So I learned how to cook that too.
All right. So, looking back, if you could go back and relive some times in comedy, what would you want to relive or do over?
I wouldn't mind the very beginning, the Houston days.
Yeah.
I used to play guitar by Rice University because I was 20, so I looked like a student.
Sure.
And I lived in a station wagon that had a futon in the back with curtains.
And you hated it then, but looking back now...
I didn't hate it then.
Oh, you didn't
No,
really?
I didn't hate it because it was an adventure. I'd moved away from my family again for the second time. I was an actor from the age of 17 to 19 in Los Angeles. I sold cars during the day and I studied at night. I loved that time of my life, but then found myself a year later in Houston and doing stand-up for the first time. I realized as an actor that I could write my own set every night like a movie. I could create a little movie in front of an audience where I got instant feedback.
So it's worth suffering to do what you love to do, right?
And I just saw it. I didn't have the money for an apartment or any of that stuff yet. I just wanted to be a stand-up comedian, so I lived in my car and I played my guitar on the streets next to Rice University, and kids thought I was a student trying to make extra money, so they tipped me. So I had my guitar case open.
Oh, there you go. I would play like a street performer, sure.
Yes, I would play for hours, and I would pick up 30, 40 bucks, which is big money, and I'd go and treat myself to a meal and a new shirt and things like that on those kind of days. And go to a Denny's or a restaurant of some sort, eat, go in the bathroom with a wet rag, and wipe myself off, put on a new shirt, and go to the comedy club.
Right back at it, right?
And then I was a comic at night.
There you go.
So those things you just never forget.
All right, so I know you guys had some wild times, and you already talked about the self-abuse, but I mean, wildest Sam Kinison story you got? Because I know you were around the guy, you're part of the posse, and what's the wildest story that the average fan wouldn't know?
Oh, okay. Is that he enjoyed Christmas so much, and after money was in our lives, we had a couple of homes, and we never lived more than a mile apart. So he had a couple of homes, but the Hollywood home that he rented up in the hills, Christmas was, he loved Christmas. So I watched them bring in like a 40-foot tree on a truck, and how they maneuvered it to the slide doors, and got this tree in, and then spent 2 days decorating it, because he had paid for that.
Really?
And so it was like the biggest tree I've ever seen in my life, in a home that had that, you know, it's like a 2-story area where the giant tree was waiting.
See the magic in everybody's eyes.
And to see, and to be proud of a friend who had reached the success level that he had, and that he was going to enjoy it that way, with flying family and friends in, and that was going to be the area that we brought everybody first before we took them anywhere else. It was a giant house with a giant tree.
Give back.
Another one is that he bought I think a $40,000 aquarium.
Wow.
That he had built into the wall of this particular house.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. It's like the size of this whole wall here. And the man brought in the most beautiful fish you could imagine, with an automatic timer. So I think he was there about a week when we went on tour to go out for a week or so. So Sam set his timer, and we left, and we went on the road for 2 or 3 weeks. When we came back to the house, we walked in, there was one fish left and bones all on the bottom.
The timer didn't work too well, or what?
No, didn't work too well.
Didn't work at all.
And that fish had an attitude that had survived.
I get he was above.
Oh, there you are. Where you been? You beat everybody I know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, I know one of my favorite stories of Sam is he'd go out to eat, and I guess he'd ask the waiter or waitress, what's the biggest tip you ever got? And then he ended up doubling that tip when he left, and I thought that was cool. And I gotta say, me and you, we were actually cruising around today. You stopped at a hat shop, and you asked how much for the hat. She said, I'm gonna knock $5 off, and you said, well, I'm gonna tip you $5 because you knocked $5 off. So you gave back too. I thought that was cool, man. I said, that's the way to do it right there. So you're right in that. How are we doing here with our pasta?
All right, I think we started at 58, so we're 10 minutes in, so we have another 4 to go probably.
Okay, so we're getting there. So
starting to soften up now.
All right. Now, you know, I get a lot of young comics on the show, and I have had some legends on like you, and I ask every one of the legends this because it's important. I know this show's back in Massachusetts, and a lot of the Boston comedians watch this show, and they really look up to, you know, the legends like you. If you had some advice for the young comics how to move up in comedy, what would your advice be to them?
Oh, I would never perform for the audience. I'd perform for myself. I'd make myself happy. So I would do the material that I thought was funny, and I would stick with it, stick to my guns. And I wouldn't, what I call, sell out, which is try to make a group happy, when in fact, the early days of your career, you're just trying to find your voice. Just like a musician. Sing the songs that are from here that you wrote, and do the stuff that's funny from here. That way you're always being yourself. If it doesn't work out, you can't look back and go, well, I didn't get lucky or whatever. I did what I thought was funny. And if it does work out, then you'll always be authentic. You know.
You did it. I did it my way.
Yes,
just
exactly.
like that, right?
Yes.
So I know it's a fun business. Also, sometimes it's a dirty business. If you had one thing to warn the comics about, what would be the one thing you'd warn the young comics about?
Be more professional than the experiences that you're going to deal with. Sometimes you're going to play clubs where they don't treat you with respect. The club is shady, and you got to worry about your check and all that. But don't be a complainer. Do something about things in life. So always do your homework. Always find out from other comics what the situation is like before you go there.
What you're going into.
And be a professional at all times.
Sure.
Because as we know in show business, if you were to get a show on a TV show, and you were a regular on the cast, member on a show, those producers are going, you know what, before I hired this person, is this the kind of person I want to see every single day?
You're working with them.
Yeah, because you're going to become family, and I think that's what comics are too. We're all family.
We're
all brothers and sisters in this, because we all put up the same thing.
Like,
we all spend a lot of time alone in a room before we go somewhere, and people think our lives are grand. And there's a lot of work involved, so be a professional.
Sure. So what, I know you're big on the hats, but I mean, now that you made the big times somewhat here, what's some of the more frivolous stuff you bought for yourself? As opposed to sleeping in your car, now that you're getting the big bucks.
I got addicted to shoes. I love shoes.
Shoes, okay.
And I'm talking boots and stuff like that. So, of some of the times I've spent money, it's been on a nice leather biker jacket that no one can find, with zebra stripes on top and the fringe and all that stuff. I had some of those, and those were very expensive. And shoes, boots. I like biker boots kind of thing. I like that image. As you can tell, I'm tattooed now, but I didn't get my first tattoo until after my 50th birthday. And my brother has a tattoo shop in Fort Worth called Tattoos by LaBove.
Okay.
So
you got a website?
I started. Yeah, he's on Instagram and he has a Facebook page, Tattoos by LaBove. And my brother's name is Larry.
Okay.
Artist since he was 4 years old. He could draw anything. So his passion is to put art on skin. So my joke is, because these things are obviously very expensive.
Oh yeah.
So people see it and they see these sleeves and they know that this tattoo is probably $800 and this one's $500. But in fact, this cost me a Coke. This one's cost me a Subway sandwich.
Because you got the inside scoop,
this one cost me a salad. I mean, because yes, I just go over and
it take a while to do. How long did it take to get all that? I mean,
yeah, well, each one is.
It's not like a one-time sit down.
The bigger
thing.
ones are somewhere between 4 to 8 hours, and most of these are 3 or 4 hour tattoos.
You're like a walking advertisement piece for your brother. That's good stuff, right?
And every one of these is a story of my life, you know.
They say every tattoo has a story, right? There's a meaning behind it or something like that, so that's always good. Okay.
We're at 13 minutes and we still have a little bit to go. I feel the stiffness in this. So. It might be a 15-minute boil, if you know what I mean.
I hear you talking. Okay. So, what's life like on the road? I know, I mean, I flew up here, what was it, 10 hours each way, and it's 20 hours of flying and another like 10 in the airports or whatever. I mean, what's a life, you know, not having a, I mean, you have a home, but you're not there, you know, quite a lot of the year. What's it like traveling around? Is it?
I've done it since I was a baby. When my dad was in the Air Force.
Okay.
So for me to go to the airport and put up with all that stress that we all are now used to, it's second nature. But the older you get, the tireder you get, and the muscles are sore and blah, blah, blah. So the first days of the gig, I really like those shows when I do my first show, because I am so worn out.
Right. The jet lag.
The jet lag hits, but the shows are silly.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm
You're
coming from a place of
goofy,
joy,
right?
so I don't mind those at all. And then I get good sleep that first night and do the TV and the radio in the morning, and then I rest all day. And yeah, so I think just as older we get, it's just more naps.
Sure. So have you thought about that, like years from now? You know, when the body won't put up with the, you know, the abuse of traveling anymore. What are your plans? What are you going to do?
I don't think that way. I think that the body has to do what the spirit tells it to.
Tells it to do.
So, you know, we know great stories of comics that have lived into their 100th year doing stand-up.
Well, George Carlin did it till the day he died, and he didn't have to. I mean, he made the money.
Oh, yeah.
He did it for the love of it, yeah. So do you see yourself doing that, just doing it?
Well, I see myself evolving. I mean, I'm working on some projects now where I'm writing my own show to put out.
Okay, so
and that way it's not just the road. It's,
right, you can break it up a little bit.
Yeah, because I started as an actor, so I really want to put that side back into what I do.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing is we're boiling the 4 cubes of bouillon slowly, and we're going to break that down in this, so it becomes a fine little mesh, and that's going to be something we're going to be pouring over the top.
Blend together.
That's right. So once we pour this into the colander and let it drain, then the process starts over here.
Okay. So, if there was one thing that you could do in comedy you haven't done yet, now you've got a storied career, but you obviously haven't done anything, what's the one thing you'd like to do?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't think about it that way. You know, I think that we create doors for ourselves as we roll along in our careers. And one of the things that I did earlier is I thought I had a plan, so I passed on some opportunities that came my way. So I think if we go back and talk about regret, is that I didn't know enough to accept whatever door opened.
Right.
That could have taken me a different direction.
Always be picky.
Right, and I think with age, I've learned that, you know, these moments that come along, they're just treasures. You know, you're meeting a new group of people who are offering you a different kind of opportunity, and behind that door could be a passion you didn't even know you had.
Well,
so
it's going to lead to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm doing the work towards a project that I really love. But I also love music, and I know you know that because we
were
some of our music.
Sitting out in the yard, you were playing some songs, and I heard an album, you know, with the few you played me. What's your plans there?
Well, that's a new project that just came up because I started writing some songs a couple weeks back. I've played for, I don't know, 47 years I've been playing guitar now. and it's a joy.
It's a love, right?
It's a love, and I'll take the guitar with me on the road, and I'll do these gigs, and during the day I'll find a place out in the woods somewhere and play in nature.
Way to relax.
You know, I try to be around sounds that calm me, and so there's a joy to it. Anyway, I started writing the lyrics out, and when I started getting involved with that part of it, I think we're just about.
So would that be a goal to someday put out a music CD?
That's the next.
That is a goal.
Yeah, because I'm doing a project where I actually have to have a couple of original songs that I'm going to also have in my project. So I'm storytelling, stand-up, and original music. So people get to reintroduce them. I get to reintroduce myself to people.
Here we go.
All right.
Drain on our pasta. Drain the pasta.
And we'll run a little hot water over that again. And we turn that one off.
We're melted up there. You already have a comedy CD out. What's the name of your comedy CD you put out?
I used to be an outlaw. What happened?
What happened? Okay. What did happen?
Yeah. Life.
Life happened. Life will catch up with you on it, yeah. Well, listen, one of the funniest ones, we used to be an outlaw, now you're walking around the casino like a little cup, you don't know what to do.
Yes.
That's real life, though.
Yes.
You know, you don't do the stuff you did when you were young anymore.
Right.
You're an outlaw, now you're a law-abiding outlaw, right? All right,
so we got this to boil. We got our bouillon mix going.
Okay.
All right. Okay, get that off flame.
Don't lose it in the stove, all right?
Okay. Now this one we're going to crank on, or we can move over here.
All right. Up with the heat.
Yeah, up with the heat. We're going to get that a little hot there.
All right.
And our virgin oil. I don't know, why don't they have like hooker oil where it's not a virgin? It's been around. It's been around for a very long time. This is easy to get into.
That's right.
It's hooker oil. Yeah, so
we got the virgin oil.
We're going to take care of this extra virgin-y stuff, and I need a little spatula. Well, those are, I can use.
Can't use those though?
Yeah, I can use those. Unless at the very bottom down there may be one. It's not our kitchen. All right, so we're not going to do that. That's fine. We're
kind of boxed in here a little bit, Carl.
Yes.
We'll make do. We always do in the comedy
That's right.
kitchen. Make do with what you got.
Okay.
A little virgin oil on the bottom.
I'm going to kind of get this to where we're just filling up the whole area there.
Bottom of the pan, okay.
Yeah. And once that's hot, then we're going to start. Yeah. I love this. This just knocks out. Sometimes you're just so beat up and tired when you get somewhere, and I'll go out and buy these ingredients if the hotel has a kitchen, you know, and I'll make this for myself. And it's one of those things where I can eat a half a box.
Rather than order out, yeah.
But you gotta eat this with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you stink.
Oh, so
it's pasta.
You don't want them to smell.
Oh yeah. You
they got the same smell. You can say nothing, right?
You gotta have this with somebody else so that you don't realize that you both smell just like garlic.
Who's got the best hotel food? You hit a lot of the hotels.
Oh, you know. I don't know. We know how to find food, and I'll eat anything. Right. But you know, I hate the hotel where you go there and breakfast is $63, and all it is 2 eggs and toast. Yeah. But the orange juice is $9.50, and you know,
for
it's
breakfast,
just
really?
eggs.
Yeah. Okay.
It's eggs. Come on, so
that's what you get when you stay in high hotels, right?
Yes, and you know the hotels. Yeah. They really cater to businesses. So they don't care about
more conventions and stuff. Yeah. Little guy suffers for it, right?
Let me see if that's going. Yeah.
Get some sizzle
going.
Right,
so we get some sizzle. We just want to brown it.
Okay.
We just want to brown it.
Saute.
There you go. And once that starts to brown,
I love the noises. Shh. That's when you know it's getting good.
I do too. And since we don't have a spatch, we're gonna, well, is that the right one to use, you think?
I'm not sure what you're trying to do here.
We're just gonna spread it out. Yeah, I just want to spread it out. Get that going. And then once those just start to burn, and it just takes a minute or so.
Small pieces, just the edges start to brown, and you know you're there.
I'll get this ready, because that's
golden.
Right.
That's where the magic happens, right here.
Magic happens.
All right.
All right.
How often do you cook on the road? I mean, is it a regular thing? Or?
No, not that often.
So it's a treat when you do
it's
do it.
It's a treat,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And I can't wait to get home sometimes
For a treat today.
to make
See
some of
that?
these meals. All right.
All right.
And then
Basil.
we put in our basil.
We got oregano, we got
Okay.
garlic, we have basil.
Okay. There you go.
And smelling even better.
Yeah. All right. My favorite part.
All right. Tomato.
10 Roma tomatoes.
10 Roma tomatoes.
Last. Dump that in there like so. And mix. And once you just do one little mix, get that garlic in there.
Come together.
Yes. I wish I had a spatula to get to the bottom. I'm not.
It's looking good.
Okay. Then we take
The bouillon.
steak juice and throw that bouillon over.
All right.
There you go. And now you've got the hot going with these cold tomatoes. And it just,
mixture.
the flavors, you know, just
Smelling,
smelling
yeah.
that stuff coming up.
When they all come together, right?
There's the joy of it right there. Now we'll take our pasta, which we've drained. And we'll pour it in our bowl.
Alright.
Let's put it right here in front of camera C.
Right in.
All
People can
right.
see what's going on.
And then we take this, and with joy.
With love. We cook with love here on the Comedy
We
Kitchen.
are going to pour that stink breath pasta and a good mix right in there.
Off with the burn.
Give it a good mix. Easy meal. What'll it take us? 30 minutes? With prep time included.
30-minute recipe.
You know what I mean?
That's not bad in cooking at all.
No.
That's right.
And that is phenomenal
That's the
flavors.
best. All right,
And
so
healthy
we're ready
us,
for
too.
my favorite part of the show.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, you know what we need?
What do we need?
Our cheese.
Our cheese. Okay. Where's our cheese?
I bet it's in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Should I climb under our cooking table?
I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Is Nate or Dana available?
Yep, they're gone.
They're gone?
Uh-huh. So,
All right, well, we're going to figure this right out anyway.
I'm going to make my plate. I'm going to move this over here.
All right.
I'm going to make my plate myself.
We thought we were
Because
in the Comedy Kitchen, did we?
The cheese on top
So, all right, we improvise in the Comedy Kitchen, don't
is
you worry.
going to nail it.
It's going to be the final ingredient.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at these plates, huh?
So
Let me see.
this,
Let me see.
We can turn it real quick if
All
you
right.
want. Ready? All right, we get the turn. I'm in the fridge. Okay, we're gonna get our cheese out. I got our cheese. All right. Gonna give our cheese to Carl. I'm gonna come back over and grab the table again here.
Yeah, we
Once
really
we
did
get the
good.
cheese open.
Go ahead.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Come back around. Like nothing
All right.
ever happened.
Did you get the forks?
I did, see?
Okay.
We're somewhat prepared here on the road, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Oh,
Oh boy,
in your face.
a little bit by the minute. Now I got the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one for you, sir, one for me.
Thank you.
The magic moment, you ready? Oh yeah. All the spices came together on that, right? Yeah.
Right? Stink breath pasta.
I look forward to having some more stink breath. All right, so you're in Alaska, you're playing Coots Comedy Club. What are they expecting at a Coots show?
Well, as you've seen in 2 shows in a row,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know. You get up there and just play with the moment,
I
right?
really play with the moment. I've been calling myself a momenteer.
There's nothing
for a
planned
while.
out anymore, okay.
No, not at all.
Well, I gotta tell you, Carl, earlier I asked you who are some of the mainstream comics that inspired you to want to do comedy, and you're one of the guys who inspired me when I wanted to do comedy. And when I started, I said one of my dreams in life doing comedy is someday I gotta open for Carl LaBove, and guess what? I've been doing that all week. So
That's right.
thank you for making a young comic's dream come true, brother.
Thank you, brother. And thank you for this moment here.
No, this was
You
awesome.
just shared something that I want to thank Betsy Weiss for.
Thank you, Betsy.
Me,
You're the best. All
She's a
right.
phenomenal comic also, and a really great cook, and I thank her for this because this has been one of my mainstays ever since.
All right. I want to thank people out there in TV land. Until next time, keep well and laugh, folks. Good night.